airline service began again in beaten Germany.
Von New York in Berlin angekommen ist. Attention please. The American Overseas Airlines wants to announce the arrival of their flight 158 from New York to Berlin.
Then the Iron Curtain was drawn. Russia tried to force her wartime allies out of Berlin. Our answer was the airlift. Cargo planes of the Air Force and Navy flew in from Alaska, Hawaii, and the States for the biggest air supply job in history. A city of 3 million had to be fed and heated. Operations Victuals was on. At the Rhein Mein airfield station in Frankfurt, freight trains from North seaports are unloaded. Here is the beginning of the airlift. Grain from Kansas and potatoes from Idaho are unloaded by DPs and refugees from Russian labor camps. U.S. Army trucks carry a full airplane load at one time. Food for a besieged city is loaded into the big 4-engine planes. These are the famous C-54 Skymasters that brought the wounded soldiers home from the war. Supplementing the grain, flour, and coal, America is sending thousands of care parcels to Berlin. They are carried in by commercial air freighters. Gasoline is loaded for the flight to Berlin and back. None can be put on in the blockaded city. Latest weather reports and changes in airlift regulations are given to the pilots. Out on the taxi strip, the plane joins the lineup waiting for takeoff.
Rhein Mein from Big Easy 121. Takeoff clearance, over. Big Easy 121 from Rhein Mein. Climb and cruise at 5,000. You're cleared for immediate takeoff.
Another 10-ton load is off on the victuals run. This aerial shuttle is run with one type of plane, the Douglas C-54, to achieve the greatest operational efficiency. Our airmen have proven to the world that they can carry anything, anywhere, anytime. The American sector of the airlift runs northeast 260 miles to the German capital. Crossing the Iron Curtain, pilots must keep in a corridor 20 miles wide over the Russian zone. Planes pour into the city at 3-minute intervals. Radio ranges and direction finders keep them within the corridor.
Tempelhof from Big Easy 121. Over range at 2,000. Over. Big Easy 121 from Tempelhof. You are cleared to Wedding Beacon. Land on runway 27 left. Clear.
The most beautiful sight to the people of Berlin is the approach of the food-laden C-54s. Through shattered walls, they see life for today and hope for tomorrow. Tempelhof Airfield, headquarters of the broken Luftwaffe. Here and at Gatow, where the RAF planes land, is the firing line of the Cold War. Again, Army trucks are ready to take on the precious loads. Enough coal and oil are flown in to heat the city and keep factories at over 40% production. Here is aviation's proving ground for mass cargo hauling. These Poles and Lithuanians have escaped Russian slavery to help stem the tide of red aggression. A rolling snack bar serves the crews right on the flight line. Each plane must be ready to leave the instant it's unloaded. The boys pay PX prices for the best of hamburgers and a big cup of coffee. There is little time to relax, but morale is high. Then the operations jeep shows up with a weather forecast for the trip back to Frankfurt. This is a rugged operation, but many of the pilots remember pushing B-17s over the same route through flak. Nearby, a forklift unloads care packages from the airline freight plane. Thanks to air freight, the care warehouse is able to keep up its distribution of food and clothing packages to grateful Berliners even through the blockade. Cards are carefully checked so that the proper person receives the parcel. Packaged foods from generous Americans are good ammunition in the Cold War and a godsend to these housefraus. Any old cart or baby buggy will do to take it home. Home may be something like this in battered Berlin, half a house with walls of paper to keep out the cold. Other homes are but piles of rubble. Along the once beautiful Unter den Linden, the Russian War Memorial is the only structure standing. Beyond is the Reichstag, burned by Hitler's mobs. Ahead is the Brandenburg Gate at the edge of the Russian sector. Through the folly of the Nazi leaders, Berlin was subjected to the greatest weight of bombs of any city on earth. Before the final surrender, it suffered 95% bomb damage and 65% total destruction. 2 out of 3 families are living with friends or relatives. But it is slowly being tidied up. The next generation will have to rebuild it. Here the children are playing on broken girders in the ruins. Overhead flies a Skymaster. Berliners are conscious day and night of the planes that are saving them from starvation. No kids in the world get more of a thrill out of visiting an airport than these Germans. They see the airlift in operation, disproving the Russian propaganda which claims it is ineffective. Air Force pilots use sign language to show how they fly into the city. These are the rebuilders of Berlin. We are trying to make them good neighbors in a world that is living ever closer together. Eagerly, they climb aboard to see what this air age is all about. Hundreds have been flown out for short holidays in the country. With a roar, another plane starts back again for the next load as the youngsters look on. None of these children has ever seen a city without bombed buildings. Since the blockade, American flagships have been the sole means for civilians to get out of Berlin to Western Germany. Each plane leaving the mammoth Tempelhof Air Terminal is packed with Berliners and personnel of the military government of the American sector.
Tempelhof flagship 903, cleared for takeoff. 903 from Tempelhof, your altitude is 7,500, you are cleared for takeoff.
Up over the rubble of war-ravaged Berlin. Airplanes wrecked the homes of these people, but now the air is the sole means of escape from the hardships of the encircled city. Below is a beautiful land in the grip of Soviet tyranny. When low clouds roll in, pilots call on GCA ground-controlled approach.
Rhein Mein GCA from flagship 903, over Offenbach at 2,500, over.
Radar antennas locate the plane. Operators talk the pilot down to the field.
Flagship 903, you're on track 7 miles east of the field. Steer 265 degrees, descend to 1,500. Now head 270 degrees, you're on glide path. Descend 500 feet per minute. Over the end of the runway, take over visually.
A normal landing is made after GCA brings them in line with the runway. GCA is a vital factor in keeping the airlift loads to an average of over 4,000 tons per day. Another load of passengers has crossed the Iron Curtain. Some will stay in Western Germany, others may fly on to America. The crew is ready to carry GI families home to the States. This is the best part of the airlift for the soldiers who have put in their time on the lift or in the military occupation forces. Within 24 hours, they will have crossed the ocean. We have a real interest in what goes on in any land that close to home. So the night and day, an effective force of democracy, which has won for America the admiration of 100 million Europeans.